chef's favorite. I'm James Grass, and today we're here with Alex Black, cocktail director for Laowai, and we're making a very special holiday cocktail. What do we got today?
Today we are doing a Mezcal and Sherry Eggnog.
Okay, this sounds like a very Merry Christmas. I'll get out of your way, and I can't wait to try it.
We're gonna start off with one of my favorite mezcals, Siete Misterios Dobae. We're gonna throw about 45 mils of that into a cocktail shaker. We're gonna be grabbing a nuttier style sherry. I've got an Oloroso, it works great, but if you wanna go a little sweeter with Pedro Jimenez or a little drier, you're more than welcome to. We're gonna throw about 45 mils of that into the cocktail cup, about 90 milliliters of whole milk, and 60 milliliters of heavy cream, along with a little bit of sugar, about 50 mils, which is about 3 tablespoons. And then we are going to put in the white of 1 egg. I know a lot of people probably are used to eggnog being something that they buy in a carton at the grocery store, but eggnog has its own unique and amazing history, and it's actually traditionally made like the one that we are going to be trying today. Then we are going to do what us bar folk call a dry shake to just kind of emulsify all these ingredients together. And then because I forgot, we're gonna throw a little Pimento Bitters, but if you've got some Angostura bitters at home, those will work perfectly for you. About 4 dashes of that guy. And then I really love these chocolate mole bitters from Bittermans, but you can find chocolate bitters from most other brands kicking around, but this one specifically goes really well with flavors from mezcal and tequila. About 4 drops out of the dropper bottle from that. Throw some ice in because no one likes warm eggnog. Make an awkward face and shake again. And I'm gonna strain this guy out. You can definitely use a double strainer, but I don't mind when little chunks of ice end up in the final product of this guy. And then over top, I'm gonna do a little grating action. Here we've got a little bit of Tonka bean, a delightful little Mesoamerican seed that has the flavors of chocolate, cinnamon, vanilla. But if you have trouble tracking down Tonka bean, a little bit of cinnamon or some nutmeg would work. And there you have it, Mezcal and Sherry Eggnog.
Alec, that was really cool to watch you make this cocktail. Sherry, mezcal, and then what was the nut that you shaved on top?
Tonka bean.
Tonka bean.
Yeah, it's a Mesoamerican seed. Tastes like caramel, toffee, vanilla, chocolate. It's a little hard to get because you can't transport it through the US because it's illegal there, because it technically has hallucinogenic properties, but in extremely high doses, nothing to worry about if you're ever cooking with it. But if you can get your hand on it, it's a really unique and fun flavor.
So we got like, I don't know.
We could grind it up and.
Could we get weird on this?
Maybe.
So if we were hypothetically gonna get a bit wacky do on the Tonka bean, how many of those, is that enough for us to get messy?
No.
No.
No, like a significant amount.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's tuck in. I really want to try this. Cheers, my man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Oh, pardon me. Okay, yum, first of all. I'm not a big mezcal guy generally. That is super subtle. The sherry really softens it, and the Tonka bean is not like anything I've ever tasted. That caramel, that toffee, that chocolate element, unbelievable.
That's fantastic. And with mezcal, you can always play, like if you like your more smoky varietals, you can play with those. If you like something that's a little subdued, depending on what they're doing in the process of cooking the agave plants and the amount of contact those plants have with the volcanic rock that they're cooking with, can mean that there's a more smoky version or less smoky version. I really like the Siete Misterios because it's a very approachable entry-level mezcal.
Yeah, it's tasty. So what was the inspiration behind this? Is this something that a contemporary you saw somewhere else, or is this something that you've been thinking about for a while? Or?
It's definitely developed from seeing fun eggnogs from other people, and just like, over the years of like, well, I'm gonna throw a little bit of like mezcal in here instead of this. I think it started off with like an aged tequila eggnog years ago.
Yeah.
And now this is kind of just like my go-to for parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can make a big batch in a blender if you want to. And
got it.
Yeah.
I could get amongst that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Laowai. A hidden bar right in the heart of Chinatown. What can you tell us and what can't you tell us about Laowai?
I can tell you almost anything except for where we are and how to get in.
Got it.
Yeah, for that you gotta know a guy.
You gotta know a guy. So, Dumplings are on the menu.
Dumplings are on the menu.
I've had the lamb dumplings.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, stunning. What else can we expect when we come to Laowai?
Initially, the first thing that people do when they walk in is they literally physically take a step back. Part of our programming is to make sure that we don't spoil any of the surprises. So the way the cocktails are served, the methods, the smoke, even the room as a whole. When people walk in, they're like, oh, okay, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
The hope is that people are overwhelmed in a good way when they step in and they're like, oh, okay, we shouldn't feel like we're in Vancouver in 2022. We should feel like we're transported to another time and place.
Totally. You also have some other interesting house rules. No hats. Oops.
Yeah.
We won't tell anybody.
No, I mean, things fly a little different in the back room. We're able to break some rules. Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, we're in the hidden back room, which is in the hidden bar.
Yes.
You have had some pretty impressive guest bartenders come through.
Some of the best bartenders in the world have been behind this bar. Yeah.
Yeah. And how often do you do these pop-ups?
Every single weekend.
Every single weekend?
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like I know where I'm going this weekend.
It's a fun time. Tons of great people, and it's always a cocktail menu of 3 or 4 drinks that you can't get anywhere else at any other time. So it happens for 2 days. You need to know the bartender who's back here, try to finagle your way in at the front. But once you're back here, it's a whole different party.
Hell yeah, sounds like a real nice time. So tell us a little bit about Alec. You're not a Vancouver guy, Winnipeg if I'm...
Winnipeg, yeah, born and bred on the prairies.
Right on. So did you work in the hospitality business out there?
I did. I've been working in some way, shape, or form of bartending or hospitality since I was 15 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't quite been the Bruce Springsteen where it's been my only job, but throughout my entire life since I was 15, I've been a bartender or bartender adjacent. So started off bussing and bar backing at a concert hall back on the prairies, which is where when I was 16 years old, I'm sure anyone who get fired from this is long since retired. 16 years old, I got my first chance to bartend. It was a festival with some sketchy people. A lot of people didn't show up to work that day because they had worked the event before. They knew it was coming. I had no clue. I went in that day from a busser to a barback to a coffee attendant to a bartender. There was a heavy amount of gang activity, unfortunately, as there is in Winnipeg. And the first time I ever did a last call, it was behind a line of Winnipeg's finest. The Winnipeg Police Department locked arm in arm in front of me. And for some reason I thought, this is it, I'm here.
This is exciting.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Wow. So then you moved to Vancouver. How old were you then? Why did you move?
I always thought I'd move east, not west. But I came to Vancouver a couple of times in and around the Olympics, fell in love with it, packed up my bags on New Year's Day 12 years ago now, moved out here and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now we worked together at the Vancouver Club for 18 months, 2 years?
Well, I worked.
Okay, we've heard that story before, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we attended the workplace at the Vancouver Club for about 2 years, where we had a great old time. Tell us about some of the other venues that you've worked in the city.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work alongside some of the best chefs and the best restaurants in town. So I think Hawksworth, getting to work, when Christian Eli was running the kitchen there, and Cooper Tardival was running the bar, that was kind of my big break.
Wow.
Found a lot of my mentorship there for both like hospitality and bartending. From there, ended up at the Vancouver Club, ended up going back to Hawksworth and opening up Nightingale for them.
That's right.
I've been at Wildebeest, rest in peace, working with James Aranzan and Josh Pape, which was an absolute amazing time. I spent a little time being a distiller's assistant for a distillery out in East Van that's since under different ownership. But that was amazing, getting some hands-on practice and getting to apply my trade in that route, because my background is kind of in distilling theory and education, as you know. So getting to see all those years of knowledge kind of build up and seeing practically how it all comes out, and then also how much is not necessarily wrong in the books, but how dynamic the actual act of fermenting and distilling can be. So, one temperature doesn't always yield the same results as another temperature. So yeah, that was fantastic. And now I've been, on the operations side and the creative director side at Laowai we've been working on this project for over 3 years now, but the doors have been open for a year and 5 months.
Right.
And then we're looking forward to the future with a new project down the pipeline.
Okay, before we go on, with your experience on the educational side and having worked in the distillery, could you, in theory, literally make bathtub gin?
I mean, not even in theory. I can and have made bathtub gin. We would call it compound gin, but it was colloquially referred to as bathtub gin. And a fun historical thing, generally speaking, we have this romanticized idea that it was like made in a bathtub, but it's not the case. It was so poorly flavored that it tasted like bathtub water,
Yum.
not physically made in a bathtub. So yeah.
Okay.
But I have made a compound gin. I've already done that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that another episode of Chef's Favorite that we can cover?
We could just get a bunch of neutral grain spirit falls off a truck and we can do whatever we want with it.
Weird.
Yeah, I got a juniper guy. It'll be
Yeah,
easy.
everyone's got a juniper guy. So Laowai's been around for 1 year and 5 months, and you already have a new project on the go. Can you tell us any secrets about that?
Yeah, we're going to be opening a new bar in Chinatown called Bagheera. If you check out Where is Bagheera on Instagram and the hashtag WeHideYouSeek, that's where you can find all the stuff. But we've got some big things coming through the pipelines, and we're super excited to open another place in this neighborhood because we absolutely adore Chinatown, and you know, there's not another neighborhood in the world that we would want to move into for another project. So
amazing. Yeah. Chinatown's really having a little bit of a renaissance right now.
I mean, you show me a neighborhood in Canada that has more Michelin mentions and more Canada's top 100 bars. You know, because you can't. It's amazing what this tiny little neighborhood is able to do.
Yeah, it's incredibly dynamic. Do you have some favorites in the neighborhood that you can tell us about?
I love Fiorino. They just got some big accolades on Michelin. They were a Bib Gourmand, so the secret's out for that. There is a great bento place that's named I don't even know on Pender Street, but it's the bento place on Pender Street. I love finding that. If I am, you know, hitting like a cheeky little knockoff beer right around the corner at the Boxcar,
oh yeah.
Gotta hit Boxy. It's one of my favorites. And then you'll find me oftentimes at the dumpling counter at Kamwai Dim Sum, because even though we do dumplings here and they're amazing, Kamwai does more Cantonese style, and the price is amazing, and it's a third generation owned local business and they're phenomenal.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you mentioned that you worked with a local distillery.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite local distillery?
How local are we talking?
You can go anywhere in BC.
Okay, I really like what's coming out of Sheringham. They're phenomenal. They're getting accolades all over the world.
Vancouver Island?
It is, yeah. Definitely not a well-kept secret, but one that I do love to support that gets a little bit less credit is Copper Spirit. They're on Bowen Island. They've got a fantastic setup. I go to Bowen Island, at least in the summer, probably once a month. I like biking out there, but I always stop in. The owners are phenomenal. The place is great, and they make a really, really, really good product. So
right on. What about favorite brewery? Anything local here?
Ooh, I'm gonna lose some friends by picking one.
You can have an honorable mention.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything that Sam accomplished at Parkside. He's been a big supporter of mine all the time. I've had Parkside beer on my menus since they've opened. Every time I go out to that neighborhood, I love them. They've got their sister brewery that just opened up. Then all the favorites, you know, I love Strange Fellows. I've worked a lot with Main Street Brewing over the years, and they're always phenomenal. I like them because they've got beer that's just beer.
Yeah.
And sometimes my prairie heart is just aching for a lager that tastes like a lager.
God love you.
Yeah.
My Australian heart aches for the same thing. I don't need beer with flavor. I need beer that tastes like beer.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you. Okay, let's talk about local wineries. BC's got some of the best.
Yeah. I purposely stay away from wine. I love drinking it. I don't want to know too much about it because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of having any. I don't want to know how the sausages are made in the wine world. Just give me what tastes good. Let me enjoy it. Done and dusted. I got enough nerdy wine friends. They can, you know,
fill in the gap.
Fire them a text like, "Hey, I'm making this tonight. What should I buy?" So yeah.
I'm a little bit the same. I love wine, and I know enough about wine to get by, but I'm by no stretch a sommelier or anybody that's accredited. I have an important question. Your final meal on Earth and your final cocktail on Earth before we shoot you off to Mars to open the first cocktail bar on Mars.
Like, does it have to be a proper cocktail or could it just be a drink?
No, anything you want.
Honestly, if I can't have it again, I'm probably gonna get a Miller High Life and a shot of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, my guy.
Yeah, but if I'm getting weird, we used to serve a cocktail back in the day that was a Sazerac made with a $36,000 bottle of brandy, and like something about leaving and never coming back. I would like a Louis Trey rare cask Sazerac because I want to take a chunk of this world down before I go.
So is that a drink that you would order and then skip out on the bill?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's just the wallet. I'll be right back.
It's in the car.
Yeah. Food-wise, I grew up in a Scottish family, so Scottish breakfast would probably be it. I want my black pudding, I want my square slice, I want my Ayrshire bacon, I want my scones, I want my tatties, I want fried beans, you know, eggs that were in a frying pan that has probably not been washed properly for years.
Yes.
That would be my go-to final meal for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, side of Iron Brew.
Iron Brew.
Oh yeah.
Alec, thank you so much for taking the time to shoot with us. It was amazing to try this. Like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your friends, and come and hang out with Alec at Laowai. And check out the new place. How do we say it?
Bagheera.
Bagheera. Hidden in Chinatown. Take a look. Make sure you make some of these at home. Merry Christmas. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Appreciate you. Salud.